In the mid-20th century, Gary Cooper was the guy all the top dog filmmakers in Hollywood wanted to play the lead in their films. He was an actor known for being America's favorite good guy. He had a strong, quiet on-screen persona and a deliciously understated acting style. He was nominated for a total of 5 Academy Awards and won 2 for Best Actor. For almost a quarter century, he was one of the top 10 film personalities and was one of the highest money-making film stars for the better part of 2 decades. Not only was Gary Cooper highly sought after among Tinseltown's top directors, but he was also the talk of the town on the dating scene. While he only married once, he dated quite a few of the top actresses of his day. Rumor has it he might have even hooked up with a man as well. Join Facts First as we attempt to spill the beans on all of Gary Cooper's flings, trysts, romances, and affairs. Clara Bow. Before he was known for playing romantic heroes in films like The Wolf Song and Wings, the original It Girl, Clara Bow, found herself so enamored of Cooper she basically demanded he star alongside her in a movie. The two first met on the Paramount lot, and it was apparently lust at first sight. Eventually, her insistence paid off, and Cooper landed one of his first major roles in 1927's Children of Divorce. It was likely during production of this film that Cooper struck up his romantic relationship with Bow. In truth, Cooper became infamous for getting especially close with many of his female co-stars throughout his career. Children of Divorce is often credited with making Clara Bow into a star, and while Cooper's performance wasn't quite as memorable, his appearance in Wings, which hit theaters later that year, is typically viewed as the role that really got his career going strong. Lupe Velez. In 1929, Cooper filmed The Wolf Song with the lovely yet diabolical Lupe Velez. In that film, Cooper plays a cowboy who finds himself in Taos, New Mexico. While there, he meets Velez's character and falls madly in love with her. But despite having gotten the girl, the call for adventure still beckons him. While that might sound like just about every Western love film of the time, what's notable about it is the fact it was the movie that first introduced Cooper to one of his many great love interests. If Clara Bow was the Hollywood it girl, Lupe Velez was the Mexican it girl. She was feisty, voluptuous, charismatic, and drop-dead gorgeous. Unfortunately for him, that was one fling that would end up coming back to bite him. What started off as an on-screen romance that evolved into a blossoming off-screen one eventually devolved into a rather dramatic situation. While the two lovebirds were getting to know each other, Cooper's career was beginning to take off. He started out acting in silent films, but after transitioning to talkies, he became an even bigger star. His increased popularity led him to being cast in larger and more prolific roles. All these new, bigger budget, higher profile movies starred successful actresses in the female leading roles. Velez soon became very jealous of the situation. She wanted to keep her man all to herself, and was prone to fits of intense rage when she felt threatened. So she did the only thing she thought she could do to keep Cooper in her clutches. She attempted to derail his career so he wouldn't be as desirable in the eyes of the opposite sex. If that sounds like something a crazy obsessive person would do, that's because that description describes Velez to a T. Anderson Lawler. While Cooper was still with Lupe Velez, she became increasingly suspicious he was having an intimate relationship with his good friend Anderson Lawler. One night at a party, Velez, believing Cooper had just gotten back from hooking up with Lawler, pulled down Gary's pants zipper and sniffed his crotch. She then claimed she smelled the distinct aroma of Lawler's cologne. While it's never been confirmed that Cooper was bisexual or that he had an affair with Lawler, Anderson was known in that era's vernacular as a swisher, or a flamboyantly gay man. Even though there's no proof Cooper and Lawler were ever romantically involved, it is known the two shared a house on and off for over a year. So it's not out of the realm of possibility Cooper may have experimented a bit. A biographer named Michelle Vogel even went as far as to speculate Velez once consented to Cooper's alleged involvement with Lawler as long as she could participate. Once again, however, it's difficult to authenticate such claims. Marlene Dietrich. The drama in Cooper's life was taken to an unprecedented level after Cooper starred alongside actress Marlene Dietrich in 1930s Morocco. Love-struck and smitten by her co-star, Dietrich wanted desperately to get a piece of Cooper. But as you might expect, Velez was not in the least bit interested in sharing him with anyone. An intensely bitter rivalry formed between the two actresses. Although Dietrich did her best to remain professional, Velez made little attempt to keep things dignified. In the press, Velez was depicted as a loose cannon, unable to keep her emotions at bay wherever Cooper was involved. Ultimately, there was nothing she wouldn't do to keep her stranglehold on her man, even if that meant hurting him. Velez was once quoted as saying if she had the opportunity, she would have torn Marlene Dietrich's eyes out. While she might have been extremely controlling and a bit unhinged, Cooper remained under her spell. So even though he was deeply into Dietrich and carried on affairs with both women simultaneously, it was typically Lupe who would end up winning the majority of his attention. That is, however, until he finally worked up the courage to leave her after 3 years of dating. When he left LA and Velez behind by train en route to Chicago, Lupe allegedly attempted to shoot him. Fortunately, she had terrible aim, missed him, and fled the scene, evading arrest. When he left Velez, that effectively ended his relationship with Dietrich as well. In the grand scheme of things, that was probably a pretty smart move. Carole Lombard. After breaking things off with Velez and Dietrich, Cooper was known to have hooked up with actress Carole Lombard. The two met while filming the 1931 film I Take This Woman, while Lombard was still married to her husband, Clark Gable. Lombard claimed she had superior experiences in the bedroom with Cooper than she ever did with Gable. In fact, Gable felt so threatened by Cooper, he ended up purchasing a Duesenberg car that was a foot longer than Cooper's. If that's not compensating for something, we don't know what is. Tallulah Bankhead. In 1932, Cooper was cast opposite the beautiful Tallulah Bankhead in the film Devil in the Deep. Like Velez, Bankhead was known for being a bit on the wild side. She was even once quoted as saying the only reason why she went to Hollywood was to sleep with Cooper. Apparently, she achieved her goal, as did the majority of Cooper's co-stars, including rival Cary Grant. Veronica Balfe. This actress, best known for her appearance in the 1933 film The Gay 90s, married Cooper on December 15, 1933. They tied the knot at Balfe's mother's home on Park Avenue, though they originally intended to exchange vows at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, but changed locations at the last moment to avoid public attention. After getting married, Balfe retired from acting. 4 years later, in 1937, Balfe gave birth to a daughter named Maria Veronica Cooper. In 1951, the couple separated but reconciled 2 years later and remained married until Cooper's death in 1961. Ingrid Bergman. While married to Veronica Balfe, Cooper had an affair with high-profile Casablanca actress Ingrid Bergman. The two hit it off while working together on the set of the film For Whom the Bell Tolls in 1942. For a year, Cooper and Bergman managed to keep their clandestine affair under wraps. After their forbidden love was discovered, however, they ended things after finishing up shooting Saratoga Trunk in 1943. Now it's time to hear from you. Which one of these relationships was the most surprising to hear about? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.